Next topic would be the result of the fall. Maybe it might not be good, but anyway. Maybe better to change the topic. The results of the loss of the four great realms of hearts. As we discussed already, by fulfilling the four realms of great hearts, actually man can fulfill the purpose of life, and which means true happiness. Eternal happiness will be fulfilled only through the fulfillment of the four great realms of hearts. This was supposed then actually Adam and Eve were supposed to become the true parents who fulfill the entire contents of four realms of hearts, also plus the dominion of creation, actually. But actually, wherever we see, we don't see the true parentship in Adam and Eve. This means Adam and Eve must have lost these four great realms of hearts. And by losing, what happened by losing the four great realms of hearts will be the topic of this session. Number one, loss of children's love. Which is the first heart. Actually, God is a parent, invisible parent of man, and man is a visible child of God. Then God gave love, parental love, to Adam and Eve, to man. Then man is supposed to give love to God. This is children's love. Then God and man must have united into one, and true happiness must have been fulfilled between God and man. God is so happy as parents, and man is so happy as the children of God. That's a fulfillment, and the God and man will never be separated. Never, forever. That's supposed to be God's idea. But can you see such a reality in this world? If man is looking for God, crying out for God, man cannot see God, cannot meet with God. And also, God must have been calling for man, But God cannot touch the heart of man. Nothing to say of living in man. The relationship between God and man is broken. It is reality. It is a real reality. In other words, the man lost this children's love. Children's love is lost. Then, what's the result of the loss of the children's love? When the children's love was lost, also he couldn't receive the parental love also. The relationship between God and man was broken. That's why breakdown, this is from here, the breakdown. Breakdown of relationship between God and man. Breakdown of the relationship between God and man occurred. Then what happened? One, man lost God. Man lost God. Isn't it natural for children to be able to talk with parents? It's natural or not? In your family, aren't you free to talk with the parents? Of course. But are you free to talk with God? No. Therefore, actually, we lost God. We can't find them. We can't find God. God, where are you? Please show up. Where are you? Man is crying for God, but God cannot come to you for some reason. Man lost God. Man forgot the past experience in the Garden of Eden, when man was able to be embraced by God. Man experienced the warm embrace of God. Even man experienced the heartbeat of God. And man received the milk, loving embrace from the feminine God, and received the milk from God in one sense, in deep sense. But there's nothing remains in his heart. Even God is calling man. Man cannot listen to the voice of God. And man lost God. When someone says, he's gone. God was here long time ago, but he's gone now. And he will never come back. Therefore, we have to live by ourselves. This kind of idea is called deism. This kind of philosophy is called deism. Especially from the 17th century to the 18th century. Deism. This means God created this universe, this world, but after the creation, God didn't care of us. That's their basic idea. In other words, He has nothing to do with the suffering of man. He has no intention to save man, fallen world. That's why no personal relationship, no providential relationship at all. God created this world, but afterwards, we have nothing. This world has nothing to. God has nothing to do with this world. That's a basic idea. Starting from England, this kind of concept went to America, even Jefferson, Thomas Jefferson, or Thomas Paine, or even the first president of America, do you know who? George Washington. Even had this kind of feeling, this kind of idea, basically. Of course, George Washington had a prayer life, deep prayer life, but nevertheless, as his own way of thinking, even he had this kind of feeling. Not absolutely. This is deism. Then someone came and said, no, God didn't go anywhere. Actually, He died. God is dead. He was alive in the past, but now He's dead. Starting from Nietzsche, and many philosophers thought that way. Even now, theologians of the Harvard Divinity School, there are many like that. Therefore, if just Christians, younger pious Christians go to the divinity school or seminary or divinity school, then they lose faith. The more you study Bible, the more you lose the faith. It's right. It's true. Reality. Because Bible is a mess, in one sense. Theology is dead also. Therefore, theology is dead. That's a reality. Then death, the idea of death of God. Then some other came and said, no, God didn't go anywhere. God didn't die. Actually, He never existed. How do you call this kind of idea? You had been the professional for that. Atheism. God didn't exist. God is just man's imagination. Man's imagination. Or even God is just a projection of the good nature of man. That's a concept of Feuerbach. Just projection of the good nature of man. This means actually God is man's creation, projection of man, and man's creation. Then someone came and said after him, don't you feel it is stupid to bow to something that you made, your own idea or your own imagination? Don't you feel you are so stupid to bow to something that you made? And it is more stupid to be dominated, or oppressed, dominated or oppressed by something that you made. By your own imagination, you are dominated, oppressed, and you are crushed. How terrible it is. How stupid you are. That's why forget such kind of imagination and come out from that kind of imagination and stand in reality, upon the reality of this world, and be yourself. Then you'll be free, you'll be yourself in true sense. This is a revelation of man. Whose idea was that? Right? Karl Marx, for you, a very familiar man in the past. That's the idea of Karl Marx. It's the idea of the alienation. Then the existence is only the matter. Matter is true existence, essence. Essence of this universe is matter, only matter. Then he has some real trouble with this idea. Because then if just matter is the essence of the existence, then how is it possible to explain the development? How does matter develops? It's become a big question. Then without any power or force from outside, how is it possible for matter to grow and to grow? It's very difficult to explain. The reality of life, plants, animals, or human being, very difficult. Then he took advantage of Hegel's, the dialectical and dialectics. Then applied Hegel's idea to the development of matter. This is thesis, antithesis, and synthesis. 3 stages. Huh? Eh? Okay. Then this is a dialectical materialism. Dialectical materialism. Then this dialectical materialism was applied to the history, development of the history. Development of the history. This is called historical materialism. Historical materialism. then this understanding of historical materialism was combined with his big work called Das Kapital, 3 books. 3 books. And finally, he developed the theory of revolution. Theory of revolution. According to his understanding, originally this was supposed to be the classless world. Classless world. Class. No class. Everyone should be equal and free. But owing to the development of the human capability to use tools, someone who owns the tools and someone who don't own the tools, that's a starting point, a division of the class. The someone who owns now began to dominate and oppress, and I forgot English. Sakushu. Exploit. Those who didn't have. Exploitation. Theory of exploitation. That's the cause of the suffering of human race. This is the origin of sin, actually. This is the original sin, according to Karl Marx, actually. Therefore, in order to solve the suffering of man, you must eliminate this class struggle. To do this, actually, you have to eliminate the oppressing class. As of now, it is the capitalistic social system. Don't stop. In the capitalistic social system. Therefore, capitalists are now exploiting the laborers and farmers, and they are suffering a lot. Therefore, in order to solve this class struggle, you have to eliminate the capitalistic social system. But to do this, you must get power, take power. In other words, the sovereignty, you must take over sovereignty. In order to take over sovereignty, you can use even the violence. This is the theory of the violent revolution. Revolution by violence. Actually, he thought it would be accomplished first in England, because at that time England was the most developed capitalistic social system. But actually it didn't happen in England, and finally happened in Russia, which was different from his own theory. But through Lenin, finally communism was established. The first communist country nation was built in this country, in Russia. But after going through a lot of tragedies, losing because of this communism, honestly speaking, 150 million people killed, not because of war, but under the oppression. Starting, I don't know how many killed? Tens of millions. Mao Zedong, more than that. During 70 years period, we are told that total 150 million people killed. But it's over, almost over, but not quite. But anyway, with such a sacrifice and tragedy, communism was not final answer to the solution of this world. When we hear these things, deism, or philosophy of death of God, or Karl Marx's philosophy, then we may think, oh, it is great. But actually, these are only the justification of the misery of man who lost God. These are only the justification of the misery of the man who lost God. Nothing was true. As long as God exists, nothing was true. It was false. This is how man, because why this kind of thing happened? Because man lost God. Man lost God. Then when man lost God, actually, when a child lost parents, children cannot be children anymore. Even externally, children are children, but internally, children cannot live as children anymore. And children, they cannot have joy and happiness as children anymore. Do you remember the definition of man? What is the definition of man? Child of God. Then when man lost God, man lost parents, eternal parents. Then man is man, still man externally, but in true sense, man cannot live as man anymore. Man lost himself. Yes, number 2. Man lost himself. Man lost. Therefore, even externally, man is a man, looks like man, but it's not man in true sense. Therefore, in true sense, man has been looking for himself. Man has been looking for himself long time. Through philosophy, through psychology, through religions, or even through science. Man has been looking for himself. What is man? Man is looking for something. Where? Hi, hey, what are you looking for? Yeah. Didn't you see myself somewhere? I'm looking for myself. I lost myself. That's the reality of history of entire mankind. Man is man externally. Man has never been true man in the past at all. No one was true in the past. This is the reason man couldn't find true self. Man couldn't find the true identity as a child of God. Man lost identity as a child of God. Man is supposed to be as precious as God. Don't you think so? Child is as precious as parents. Even more precious than parents. Then man is supposed to be as precious as God himself. Then the value of God must be absolute. Then man's value is supposed to be absolute. Then how precious man will be? Man should be as precious as God. Therefore, if we really understand this point, man can respect each other as God, like God. Man can love each other like God. How is it possible to harm others? How terrible it is to harm others. To harm others means to harm God. Well, if you kill someone, one person, you destroy one person's life, eliminate one person's life. It means, in the same meaning, to eliminate God. Such a sin, such a crime. Then if you eliminate tens of hundreds of thousands to pursue some idea, how terrible it was. But man, since man lost God, man lost himself. Man cannot find his own value. How precious his life is. He himself cannot find the preciousness of his own life. Therefore, he can understand where did he come from, this man come from. Actually, man had three questions. Man had three questions. One, where did I come from? Then looking, do you know where did I come from? Did I come from? No. Do you know where did I come from? I don't know. Then someone said, I got the answer. Really? Did God answer where did man come from? Yeah. Where? Tell me. Okay, I'll tell you. Man came from monkey. Oh, we are then monkey children. Wow, great. That has been our understanding these modern centuries. Don't you think it is stupid? Don't you think it is stupid to believe that man is a child of monkey? If man is a child of monkey, when a child grows up to reach perfection, then should be like parents. How do you think? Then purpose life must be to resemble a monkey. And value of man will be decided by how quick you can climb up the banana tree and how many bananas you can get. That's the value of man. Do you agree with that? We didn't even recognize such a stupidity many, many years. But man is not a child of monkey, but man is a child of God. Therefore, as soon as man is born, man is looking for God. Then man's ultimate desire is to be like God. Is right? Isn't it right? Man is not child of monkey, but child of God. Since man lost himself, even man is told that man is a child of monkey, still man agreed with that because they didn't have true answer. Man didn't know where did he come from. What is man? Then number 3, man doesn't understand where to go. Purpose to life. Man couldn't find a purpose to life. Materialism will never give an answer to the question of purpose of life. Never. Logically impossible. But only in relationship with God we can find the purpose of life. But when man lost God, man lost purpose of life. Therefore, man cannot understand where to go. Therefore, man cannot understand how to go. Without understanding where to go, do you think can you find out the right course? If you decide first that you are going to St. Petersburg, then you can find out right course. Is right? But if you don't know where to go, how is it possible to start to drive the car? It's impossible. That has been the reality of life. We were in the life bus. Many people are going together. In the beginning, we didn't know. I didn't know I was in the bus or not. But after 3-4 years, we realized that I was in the life bus. Brothers and sisters and friends, they're just so curious what's happening, and through the window. You got excited. But become 15, 16, 17, they become adolescents. Then, by the way, do you know where is this bus going? No. Then ask friends. Friend has no answer. Ask daddy, Daddy, tell me, where is this bus going? I don't know. Ask a driver, Hey, driver, Mr. Driver, where is this bus going? I don't know. Even bus driver don't know where this bus going. And there's no answer. That's why, it's okay. I don't care. I don't care. And that way, actually 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, 50 years, 60 years, then Grandpa disappeared all of a sudden. Do you know where did my grandpa go? I don't know. Grandma, too. No, Daddy went. Do you know where did he go? No. Mom went, disappeared all of a sudden. Do you know where did she go? She didn't say anything. She didn't say anything where she was going. And she disappeared. Then gradually, now friends, all of a sudden disappears. He never said, where did he go? Gradually getting older and older. Become 60s, become 70s, but still don't know where was the bus going. This is a story of life bus. Isn't it a reality? Isn't this the reality of our life? Even we don't recognize that how miserable we are by losing God, losing ourselves. We don't recognize how much we are lost. But someone who is so serious, young man who is so serious, he's desperate to find out where the bus going. He tries so hard, but he cannot find the answer from anyone, from friends, teachers, parents, even from books and philosophies, from religions even, cannot find any answer. Then he lost hope. Out of despair, all of a sudden he commits suicide. But there are so many who have even no courage to commit suicide. Then here comes the feeling. How much you may try to find out the value and meaning of life. I cannot find anything. Okay, I don't care anymore. Devil may care. That's become my feeling, our feeling. But still, as a human being, want to get the joy and happiness. That's why knowing it is not genuine, knowing it's not true, it is really fake. Knowing it is fake. Now, they began to get into the depths of the alcoholism. Alcohol. Oh, let's drink. Doesn't matter. Just tonight, let's have good time. And drink, and just go crazy. And it continues night after night. Then time will come. He have to pay for that. I heard the life expectancy of Russian men is so short. Now, how many years? 59. How the women's life expectancy? 72? 72. Dying so quick. The main cause is alcoholism, is it right? One of the important cause. Accidental death. Because of what? But still, maybe alcohol might be one of the big reasons. Mm. Yeah. Mm. Mm. Connected with the alcohol. This is tragic. My country is actually the longest life expectancy in the world. Women's life expectancy is 83, and men, I think 79 or almost 80. But anyway, it doesn't matter. But that's, the alcoholism is one of the biggest issues in this country. And also some will get into the drug, because drug is more dramatic than the alcohol, the liquors or alcohol. Especially in America, starting from marijuana, LSD, and going into the cocaine, and going into the more exciting one called crack. Did you hear that? Maybe you know that. Someone who went to America, surely you know the crack. It's a chemical derivative of cocaine, but it's so effective, and you can get high in a couple minutes after taking a drug. Just become so happy, so excited. Yeah, it's heaven all of a sudden, in a couple minutes. But doesn't last so long. Soon, we'll go back to the pits of hell, so depressed. Then, to go back that high, it needs more crack. Then no money. Then they commit crime. Even one priest was killed by someone who wanted to get money to buy the crack in New York. And after the drug, what happens? Of course, at the same time, go into the sexual promiscuities, all kinds of sexual things. And eventually now infected by the AIDS. That's the end of life. This way, young people are making mess of their own lives by alcohol, by drug, or by sexual promiscuities of all kinds, and getting finally all kind of diseases, and finally AIDS, something like that. Young people are deeply in trouble. Deeply in trouble. Then why this is happening? dishes. Of course, many people are making effort to solve these problems. We really appreciate them, but nevertheless, in order to solve this problem, how many jails become necessary? How many policemen are necessary? How many laws must be installed? How many laws you may install? How many policemen you may increase? To how many policemen you may increase? How many jails you may make? It is impossible to uproot these difficult issues of life, because the real cause of the trouble of the younger generations, not only younger but elder generations, came from this one point: man lost God, and man lost himself, and man cannot find the true happiness. That's why knowing it is not true, knowing it is fake, still, because hopelessly involved in such a tragic direction. Therefore, only by coming back God, you'll find the true joy. Otherwise, there's no ultimate solution. This is how man lost himself. Man lost God, man lost himself. Then, now number 2, loss of brother-sister love, brother-sister's love. What happened to this world by losing the brother-sister's love? Actually, because man lost God and man lost himself. In other words, man lost the first heart. Therefore, the second heart, in other words, brother-sister's love, also lost. Being brothers sisters means to have common parents. A is a child of these parents, son of, and B also was born from same parents, and C was born from the same parents. Then there's A and B and C. Person A, person B, person C are the brothers and sisters. Then all together we call it family. That's a family. Of course, I forgot that the fulfillment of the 4 great realm hearts, how do you call the institution? The name of what is the name of the institution through which the 4 realm hearts could be fulfilled? This is the family. That's why without family, you cannot fulfill the purpose of life. This is the significance or meaning of family. That's why family is so important. We must have clear understanding about that. I forgot to tell that part. What's the family? No? We didn't know. But anyway, this is just about the family. But, for instance, you are Russian. Then your parents may be Russian, grandparents may be Russian. For instance, I came from Japan, then my parents are Japanese, grandparents Japanese. Actually, no relationship. Someone someone is say Nigerian. Their parents are Nigerian, grandparents Nigerian. And almost no relationship with each other. Therefore, no common parents. That's why cannot be brothers and sisters actually in that sense. But how can we be the brothers and sisters? Only way is to find the common parents. Then where can we find the common parents? Only one possibility must be God. Therefore, only when we can find the parents in God, then we can become the brothers and sisters. To the degree of closeness to God, your love toward brothers and sisters will increase. But now man lost God. In other words, man lost this God. Man lost God. Therefore, man lost common parents. Therefore, the relationship between brothers and sisters are broken. This is the most fundamental reason of the breakdown of human relationship. Breakdown of human relationship. Man lost brothers and sisters. Man lost brothers and sisters. Therefore, man doesn't care what happened to others. Man cannot feel the suffering of others or pain of others. Man cannot feel anything. In some country, there's nothing to eat and dying of starvation. But in some other country, the fat ladies are making utmost effort about how to reduce the weight. And watching the suffering of dying child because of starvation, this lady cannot feel anything. That's a reality. But our Father, if he sees this kind of scene, even on the TV, he can't stand anymore because he's a person who really knows how painful it is to have nothing to eat. Because he went through that course personally. That's why he really wants to feed the people of the world. This is the reason why he is developing the ocean business, and also farming business, farming. This is the reason Father is trying to do so. There's one story in New York. One young woman was being raped. She was crying out for help. Many came, not to help her, but to enjoy the scene of raping. Can you imagine? If your sister is being raped, how do you do? If your daughter is being raped, how do you do? Or if your wife is being raped, how do you do? You go crazy. You attack that rapist. He may have gun, he may have gun, he may have a knife, but you have no time to think of your own life. But how is it possible to go there and watch and enjoy the rape of his own loving one? How is it possible? Man is lost to this extent. Human relationship is broken down completely to this extent. And that we cannot feel man is lost. Human relationship is totally broken down. Man cannot understand these facts. On the Fifth Avenue of New York City, one old man got a heart attack, trouble with heart, and suffering on the street, laying down on the street, he was suffering. But before someone called the ambulance for him, many people passed without doing anything. If that old man was your father, how do you do? Man is lost. Human relations is totally broken down. Tens of thousands people are walking on the street of Fifth Avenue always. Maybe in Moscow, of course, also a lot of people must have been walking on the street. But they are all alone. Deep inside, he has no one to share his own heart. He has no one to tell, to confess his own sin. He has no one to ask for help. He's alone, carrying the pain and suffering and loneliness within his heart. He pretends he was okay, he's okay, but actually not. Like lonely wolf, just by himself. Even he cannot tell anything even to his wife, of course to his children. He's alone. Many, many years. He lives alone, and he'll die alone. After the death, where does he go? He has no one to relate. Lonely place, that is called hell. This is called hell. Darkness. I know, it's an unforgettable story. This I read on the newspaper in America. In the state of New Mexico, just the west side of the USA. It's a population, and the land is pretty big, but the population is so small. Almost desert. There's one article in the newspaper appeared and said, one lonely old woman, lady, died. That's it. just by herself. No one took care of her. It's common all over. It's just happens here and there. Nothing special. Then the article continues. Then police found out and asked relatives to take responsibility for the funeral ceremony of that woman. But no one took responsibility, saying, oh, I have a appointment here, I have commitment here, I must do this, I must go somewhere. No one, not one, wanted to take responsibility for the funeral ceremony to friends or either friends or relatives. And soon, police found out the bank account left by that old lady. It was a huge bank account. Say, $20 million, huge bank account. I don't know why, how she got in her name. When that fact was reported, then all of a sudden, such a busy people was able to make time for the funeral ceremony of the lady. Somehow I could make the time. Okay, I'll take responsibility. Then another can, no, I can. I could make arrangement of time. That's why I can take responsibility. No, another person come. I can take responsibility. I won't do, I can do. Then fight began. How ugly. Then when fighting became almost up to the climax, then another document was found out. It was the last will of that lady. Will, that's it? Will. And it mentioned that in case I die, I'll leave this much money in what bank account? To 20 million, something like that, no? But please, to whom concerned, please don't give the following people. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the friend, relatives, family, relatives, friends, all the name was there. And please give this money to the rats and the cockroaches that are living in my house. Do you understand? There was a reason. There was a reason. Because when I was suffering because I was so lonely, these following people never came, never visited, never took care of me. Instead, someone who, consoled my loneliness was the rats and the cockroaches that are living in my house. That's why I want to give this money to the cockroaches and rats. This is a real story. But neither rats nor cockroaches had a right to inherit the property from the lady legally. But the statement that she mentioned that she didn't like to give the money to this person was varied. Therefore, eventually those greedy people, self-centered, greedy guys, none of them received even 1 penny. And all the money was confiscated by the state government. That's the end of the article. How lonely, loneliness, and ugliness of fallen man. Why man became like this? Because man lost God. Man lost himself. Man lost brothers and sisters. Man lost human relationship. Human relationship is totally broken down. And even they cannot even admit, cannot admit. Man is this fallen, man is this miserable, and he cannot even realize how miserable man is. And then still man, even he's far away from God. No? That's why becomes self-centered. This is how self-centeredness, selfishness came into existence. Separation from God is a cause of the self-centeredness. Selfishness. The evil man becomes so separated, far away from God, and becomes self-centered. But still he has desire to fulfill 3 blessings. Therefore he wanted to he wants to get power, authorities, the kind of dictators or in the past, this kind of people. Far away from God. And also want to get a second blessing. That's why the sexual promiscuity is coming into the life. Usually these big boss who had big power and also sexually mess. And also he won't have fulfill the 3rd blessing, self-centered 3rd blessing, number 3 blessing. That's why centering on ownership. The bloody struggle continued many, many years and decades and centuries. This is a reality. Isn't this a reality of the fallen this world? That lost God, lost himself, lost brothers and sisters, and lost everything. And we feel this is just nothing special. This is natural. This is normal. They cannot recognize the abnormality of the reality of this world. The next, number 3, loss of conjugal love. Man lost God. And the man lost himself. Man lost brothers and sisters. Man became alone. And such a self-centered man wants to fulfill second blessing. That's why sexuality was invaded by Satan. Sexuality was totally taken by Satan. As I mentioned, where God was supposed to be sitting, now Satan is sitting. Therefore, sexual love became under the dominion of Satan, who is against the will of God, who is going against the will of God. This is the reason that immature sexuality began. From that point, the so-called teenage pregnancy, from that unwed mother, the issue. Do you have this kind of trouble in this country now? Do you? Many or not so many yet? A lot? No. Enough. You have enough. Maybe America too much. Even American government cannot control anymore. Then America is now realizing only solution is to come back to God, the founding spirit of the nation. America is mistaken and giving terrible influence to the world. Which comes first, love or life? Yeah? Right. Life from love, not love from life. Then, from what kind of love do you think the life comes? What kind of love is the origin of life? Can you expect a baby from children's love? Can you expect a new life from brother-sister love? Can you expect new life from parental love? No. Then from what kind of love can you expect a new life? Only conjugal love, sexual love. Therefore, the origin of life must be the sexual love. Life comes from the sexual love. Then that sexual love is a root, and life is a sprout or even trunk or whatever. Then which do you think is more precious? Sexual love or life? Which is more precious? Which? Love or life? Love is more precious than the life. This means, but violation of this sexual love is even deeper sin than destroying someone's life. In other words, violation of sexuality is a deeper crime than the killing someone. Maybe it might be new, but it's really true. But this world doesn't agree with this as of now, because Satan is over everything. That's why if this law is applied to this world, Satan supported the number one person who should be executed. That's why Satan doesn't agree to install this kind of laws. Do you understand what I mean? But when Satan disappears from this universe, how do you think? This will become the real way of life. In other words, love is more precious than life. That love was violated. This is the meaning of the loss of the conjugal love, or loss of sexual love. Then that's violation, which is against God's will. Now comes in various ways. Actually, basis is 2 points. One, the immature sexuality. The second, the wrong direction of a sexual desire. Wrong direction. As we discussed already, sexuality should be limited, should be only committed between, practiced only between one man and one woman called husband and wife. Otherwise, it's a violation of heavenly law. But that violation is rampant in this world now. That rampage is going around the world. How terrible this situation is. In the form of this rampage. Rampage, do you understand rampage? Rampage, rampant. No. Can in Russian? Is the someone who know? You got it? But translation? Okay, great. This is an adjective. This is a noun. Abstract noun. Anyway, the forms of violation. For example, the fornication or adultery. Fornication or adultery. In other words, violation of the direction of sexuality. In other words, sexual relationship outside the marriage, especially blessed marriage by God. This is all actually fornication or adulteries. Fornication is the sexual affairs between the unmarried man and unmarried woman. And but if one is married or both are married, this becomes adultery. In other words, such a crime, such a sin, which is deeper than the destruction of life, is happening all over the world like routine things, like a routine thing. 日常茶飯事ね。How sinful this world is. How deeply sinful this world is. How God can bear to see these facts. How painful God is to see this kind of facts tens of thousands of years. And he cannot do anything. Then next one, then I'm talking about the form of the violations. The next one, prostitution. Essentially, prostitution is actually fornication or adultery. The essential nature is the fornication or adultery. But there is additional sin in the prostitution. Because in just a common fornication and adultery, usually money is not involved. But in case of prostitution, the money is involved. You know, this is a selling and buying the sexuality. You can sell and buy the all things, only all things. Money is a symbol of all things. You can sell and buy the vegetables, fish, or meat, or house, or land, whatever. But you cannot sell man, because man is as precious as God. How can I sell God? It's impossible. How can exchange God for money? Man is as precious as God. Therefore, it's a great violation to sell human being. That's why slave and the trade of the slaves in America in the past was a big crime from God's eye. But the prostitution, through the prostitution, they are selling and buying sexuality, which is the holy of the holies. The most sacred part of the body is sold and bought by money. It's a grave violation of the God's law, God's will. This is an additional violation. The C, then pornography. Is the pornography coming into this country a lot? Yes or no? Is it making a lot of trouble now? How about in the past? In the past, under the communist regime, did they have pornography or not? Secretly, a little bit? Maybe no? How about the prostitution? Yes or no? Must have been. How about the fornication and adulteries? A lot. But pornography may be coming in now, coming into this country now a lot. When in the subway, I saw, American influence is coming here. same pornographic magazine are sold here. This is another additional violation to the prostitution. Actually, pornography is actually prostitution. Basic nature of the pornography is prostitution. This means selling sexuality for money, making money by sexuality, by selling the most holy place. They are making money. But all kind of things come through movie. Do we have such kind of movie, pornographic movie in this country now? Coming in, movie. How about video? That. And how about the books, magazines? How about through the internet? Yes? No? Coming in? Recently in America or in my country, I had a lot of trouble with that. That now internet is completely breaking through all barriers of communication. Straight, if you want to give the information, that what kind of information doesn't matter. That information will be given to the entire world instantly without any barrier. That's a system of internet through the computer system. My daughter and son is living in New York area. My wife is living in Japan. But I went to visit my son's place. It's now 18. And now I'm going to the college. But anyway, he knows everything about internet. If you just search for the Unification Church, then instantly, within 1 minute or so, entire information about Unification Church comes. Of course, positive information, which Unification Church put also can come out. Also, the negative people, the information, lot of huge information, which negative people put, also can come so freely. Therefore, my son can get all information about Unification Church. I cannot find anything. Even negative, wrong information, whatever. Huge volume of information come. Just on the computer, No, not so expensive, not a special computer, just a personal computer. That's why, actually, that hardcore pornography, if you want to, you can get directly from whatever. That I don't know now. Law in America has stopped this one. I don't know. But anyway, recently had a big trouble because a little boy, or the 8 or 7 or 10 years old boy, can get hardcore sexual scene on the computer directly. It's shocking, really shocking. It's anyway, this way, pornography is now making mess of the younger generations. This is a reality. Then what could be the additional, what is the additional crime or additional violation of heavenly law of the pornography? Okay. The God has is the masculinity and femininity within himself, and through unity between God's masculinity and femininity, the child of God was born. This is a man. Then God is proud of his own child before the angelic world and the other creations. When God was proud of Jesus. And he said that this is my beloved son with whom I am well pleased. This is how God introduced Jesus to John the Baptist. This is my beloved son with whom I am well pleased. This is how God introduced Jesus to John the Baptist. Do you know that? Do you know this story? In Bible? Now Bible is available, no problem. But this relationship between masculinity and femininity inside God was hidden. God never revealed that aspect to anyone else. Likewise, in case of man, between man and woman, through unity, through the secret communication between man and woman, the new life, means the child will come. Then the father and mother together, they can be proud of the child to other people. That's why friend comes, and show the little cute baby. Oh, that's wonderful, congratulations. Neighbors come and say congratulations. That's why this way everyone can be happy. But the relationship, the secret relationship between husband and wife should not be revealed in public. Is right or not? Because God doesn't show this secret communication between masculinity and femininity. Likewise, man also shouldn't show the secret communication between man and woman to the public. Shouldn't show. But nevertheless, the pornography is showing that secret relationship, sexual relationship between man and woman in front of public. And by doing so, they are trying to make a lot of money, huge amount of money. Even in America, this sex business is making $8 billion profit. Can you imagine? $8 billion profit. If Father had $8 billion, surely Father can save the world. That's and destroying the younger generations. Then here comes homosexualities. How about what's the situation of homosexuality in this country? Not so much. Not yet. Or a lot? Lot or no? Not so much. Not so much. Eh? Less than America. America made the standard. Sorry. America, in one sense, made a textbook of foreign sexuality. But anyway, even less, surely it must be coming in. Then, in case of homosexuality, if you read the Bible, Old Testament, Deuteronomy or Numbers, in the Old Testament, Deuteronomy or Numbers, the God's Bible says that if you commit this homosexuality, you are supposed to be executed. Execution. Killed. You have to pay by the blood. This was the law. But recently, what's the feeling of, I don't know this country, but at least I know the feeling of America or feeling of Japan or some other countries. If you deny or accuse homosexuality, you will be treated as the strange person. Or you are accused because you are discriminating. In other words, homosexuality, denial of homosexuality, denial of homosexuality means God's will is replaced by by the discrimination. In other words, bad name. If you accuse homosexuality, you are violating the human rights. Do you understand what I mean? If you are accusing or denying homosexuality, you are violating the human rights. That's become the basic feeling of America. Also, that trend came into my country. I don't know, that trend is coming into this country or not. Maybe in Europe also a similar feeling. How about in other European countries? Yes, what country? Germany. How about in France? In Italy? In England? Maybe similar. And yet, it's not so easy to explain why homosexuality is so, sinful, why homosexuality is wrong. When I was doing some travel Messiah activities in New York area, which is one of the richest area of the nation, called Westchester County. I got other 1,000 houses as my territory. Not 1,000, maybe less. But anyway, Anyway, I like the rich people, rich place, because if they become my spiritual children, I can become rich. Also, I can make a lot of donation. Then I will visit one of the decent house, a nice house. Then maybe one decent man in his 40s came out and greeted me and invited me in. Then he said, he was so pleased because I was Japanese, because he liked Japanese a lot, because Japanese traditions. And I looked around, then his garden, the front yard, maybe this side, at least this side of this room, or just Japanese garden. Wow, it's nice. Then I looked around the house and the room. Then there are bookshelves. There are a lot of Japanese books, novels, some poems, or some other things, or literatures, and some are translated ones into English. Then talking for a time being. Then I began to wonder, maybe in such case, maybe, usually his wife, maybe she'll come out and with tea or coffee. It's a natural treatment, at least. Then soon, here comes another man, same decent, but the more feminine-looking man, with tea. Next moment, I understood what's happening there. I felt goosebumps. Then somehow, I managed the situation, and I just escaped. They are living, I don't know how many years, maybe 10 years or 15 years as husband and wife. Husband is man, wife is man. But externally, very decent people. Very polite and kind and warm. Nice personality. But it's, I couldn't stand with that. In the end of March, May, in the New York City, throughout the Fifth Avenue, there's a big parade of the homosexuals called the, what pride? Gay Pride. Gay Parade. Gay Parade. About 30,000 to 50,000 gays and lesbians. They march through the street, the avenue, from morning till evening, protected by the police. And one time, the mayor of the city of New York also marched together with them. You know the Koch? He did once. Mayor Koch. It's true. I know that. But anyway, then there's a banner, the group by group, demonstrating their own rights. Says, it's a and with a banner of the, what did they say? I forgot. Federation of Catholic homosexuals, and Federation of the Presbyterian churches for homosexuals. Some of the Federation of the Teachers Union, homosexuals, school teachers. In such a place, the AIDS patients are like martyr, admired martyr. That's happening every year, even now. Crazy. Then one day, Pope John Paul II came to the St. Patrick Cathedral. I want to hear his message, but they had already jam-packed. I couldn't go in. Then I was hanging around. Then on the other side of the St. Patrick Cathedral, there's some maybe about 20 decent gentlemen was standing and giving out the flyers. Now I got one of them and looked. I was shocked. They are the priests, Catholic priests, and their assistants. And they said in that flyer, they said, we observe the Catholic teaching completely as a public person, but as a private person, please approve our practice of homosexuality. That's a priest and their assistants. I was shocked. And from 14th to 18th Street of the west side of New York, you can at the evening you can see the sunset over the Hudson River. It's beautiful. Then there are benches a lot. Then the lovers sitting together and embracing and kissing each other. Both are men. Of course, husband and wife sometimes sitting together so quietly. The husband is man, wife is man. There is a very special church where the homosexual marriage was performed, maybe by the homosexual priest, pastor. And the homosexual apartment, they can live the homosexual apartment where no other people are allowed to live, because the owner of the apartment must be homosexual. That's where the AIDS burst at the beginning of the 1980s. This is a reality. Even President Clinton is more affirmative, supportive to this homosexual cause. That's a problem. Father is totally against that. But there's also many other, the support from the academic field, or from the scientific researchers to support the cause of homosexuality, saying that the homosexuality comes from the kind of one defect of the brain work. That's why you can accuse the homosexuality homosexuality has nothing to do with morals or even religions. Nothing to do with ethics. Nothing to do with moral. Nothing to do with religions. If you're colorblind, it comes because of a gene. No? Can you blame the colorblindness because of this cause and say you are sinners? Can you say that? You cannot say that. They are saying that homosexuality is the same as colorblindness. Then shut out the accusation. Or some scientist says that homosexuality comes from genes. You know, that's DNA. Therefore, you cannot accuse homosexuality. This is a way they are supporting homosexualities. But then how can we cope with that? Then we have to have clear understanding why the homosexuality is evil. To be evil means to destroy the purpose of life. If we can define, there will be no opposition. The purpose of, if we can fulfill, if anything is supportive to the fulfillment of purpose of life, it must be good. But if something is destroying the purpose of life, then it must be evil. Because destroying the purpose of life, true happiness. Then, look. God has plus and minus, okay? Masculinity and femininity. The man's purpose is to become like God. To do this, actually man and a woman must be united into one. And you can resemble God. That's what we discussed throughout day's walk today. Then how it is possible to resemble God by the union of plus and plus? How is it possible to resemble God? How is it possible to resemble God by the union of minus and minus? It is totally impossible. Then if so, plus and plus, union of plus and plus, and the union of minus minus would be totally destroying the purpose of life. Because no fulfillment of the conjugal love at all. Without fulfillment of conjugal love, no fulfillment of the children's love, brother-sister love, of course conjugal love, and also parental love. In other words, the purpose of life will be completely destroyed by the homosexuality. This is the reason the homosexuality is evil, or sin against God, violation of the will of God, violation of God's will. Therefore, this is evil. Whatever cause may be, this must be taken care of. Even if it's a disease, still must be taken care of, must be healed. Then if through homosexuality, can you expect the coming of the new life? Can you expect or no? Impossible. That's also impossible. Therefore, it is impossible to develop the parental love. That's why the life, end of life of the homosexual life must be so miserable. no fulfilling the purpose life, that complete destruction of the purpose life itself. That's why homosexuality is evil. If homosexuality is an acceptable sexual orientation, as many American believes, then if entire human race accepted as a choice of sexual orientation, how do you think? Within 1 century, entire human race will disappear. Is that the right thing or not? Therefore, without understanding of this dual characteristics of God, it is almost impossible to explain why homosexuality is sin or destruction of life. Okay, still something little more to go, but time has come. Thank you. I think we have to go now, otherwise, maybe little prayer, just short prayer and go.
Давайте помолимся. Дорогой наш Небесный Отец, Отец, нам очень важно, Отец, понять Твое дело, нам очень важно понять Тебя. И мы благодарны Тебе, что Ты дал нам время и дал возможность собраться здесь вместе и слушать Слово Твое и познать истину Твою. Отец наш, мы очень хотим, Отец, понять, насколько уродлив этот мир, насколько уродлив человек, рожденный в родословии сатаны, взявший от него все то уродство, Отец, которое появилось в результате грехопадения. Отец наш, мы очень хотим вернуться к Тебе, и мы просим Тебя быть с нами, и, Отец, помочь нам понять глубже. Мы очень хотим быть открытыми Тебе и Твоему Слову, чтобы через истину возродиться, чтобы через истину прийти к Тебе. Отец наш, мы благодарим Тебя за это время, мы хотим пригласить Тебя, чтобы сделать Тебе приношение нашего этого времени, чтобы Ты, Отец, мог научить нас многому. Мы приносим эту молитву в святое имя наших истинных родителей. Аминь.
승리 아주